Welcome back. The other types of poetry are the lyric and dramatic. Lyric poems are usually descriptive, where the poet is concerned with presenting a scene in words, conveying the sensory richness of his or her subject. Or expository, where ideas or emotions are revealed. Take a look at this short lyric by Sarah Cleghorn.
The golf links. The golf links lie so near the mill that almost every day the laboring children can look out and see the men at play.
The poem clearly and succinctly paints a picture so ironically expressive in the two contrasting scenes of working children who are the ones supposed to be at play and grown-ups playing leisurely. There are different kinds of lyric poems: the song, the descriptive lyric, the ode, the sonnet, and the elegy, among others. Dramatic poetry, on the other hand, centers on a character in conflict with some force within or outside of himself or herself. It includes the dramatic narrative, dramatic lyric, and dramatic monologue. Let us not forget, too, that in this age of information technology, poetry may be also graphic or visual. With the growing popularity of print, the way a poem looks on a page also reinforces meaning. Take a look at these poems. The first was written in the 17th century, and the second fairly recently. The visual image of the poem was unmistakable, wasn't it? Let's take a look at this. Wasn't that an interesting shape? It does speak eloquently of isolation and loneliness, doesn't it? Shape poems would certainly be a hit among your students. In a moment, we shall have the recap. Stay tuned. Welcome back. To sum up, we said that poetry, compared to prose, is more concentrated and condensed, therefore shorter in form. As utterance, it has always a persona and an addressee. The meaning of a poem depends upon how the poet has handled the elements of language, which are sense, sound, and structure. Sense refers to meanings of words, which considers connotations and uses of figures of speech, symbol and allegory to enrich and ornament meaning. Imagery is also resorted to for greater appeal and a more vivid experience of the subject matter. Sound conveys the feelings and attitudes of the poet by the choice of words whose sounds suggest certain ideas or emotions, and the use of the element of repetition of individual sounds, as in assonance, alliteration, onomatopoeia, and rhyme. Rhythm is also more noticeable in poetry, even in free verse, more so with traditional poems, which even follow regular patterns of prosody. Structure refers to the arrangement of words. We should know the established rules of grammar of the language used, as well as figure out stylistic deviations and creative inventions. There are three major classifications of poems: the narrative, lyric, and dramatic. When we teach poetry, therefore, we may ask the following questions. Number one, who is speaking? Next, What kind of person is he or she? In what mood? Thinking what thoughts? Feeling what emotions? Next, of whom or what is he or she speaking? Fourth, how is this person or object described? Fifth, what attitudes are being projected? Are we led to share these attitudes and emotions in sympathy or to rebel against them with feelings of anger or irony? These questions could certainly be answered quite easily if the poem is read aloud to your students and are shown how the answers in the sense, sound, and structure of the poem. So poetry is not so scary after all, is it? Isn't it, in fact, exciting and challenging? I hope this episode has inspired you to go to your poetry teaching classes with more interest and excitement. In the next episode, we shall take up the essay. Until then, this is your host, Nanette Cusi Montealegre. Happy teaching!